So yesterday, Paper Rex absolutely destroyed Sentinels here on Split, 13-3, and this felt like peak Paper Rex coming back, right? The floods of like 2023 Champs Run, all that kind of stuff. It felt like we had gone back in time, and Paper Rex were now back on their very peak, and they will definitely finish in the top 3 of Masters Toronto. Now, of course, they're playing as Wolves in the upper final, so they're gonna have to go and win that lower final to make it to the grand final again. But, you know, that's still pretty good achievement for Paper Rex. So, we are going to take a look at this game of Split, where on the attack side against Sentinels, they absolutely destroyed them. And we're going to start here with the bonus round. Obviously, again, one of the tougher rounds to win. And this one is going to be especially tough to win, because it starts off with this, right? Probably not Paper X's, like, you know, greatest timing here, I would assume. I'm not really sure, but you would think you would ideally go behind the Prowler if you're Jing here. So maybe, you know, if they're running this again, Jing needs to, like, you know, just wait a tick. I don't know, because it would seem like, you know, if the Prowler goes first here and does get there, you know, like, Zekken could be in some trouble, right? He's shooting the Prowler, and then Jing comes at him, he knows where he is. You know, that might be a bit better for Paper Rex, so maybe there's something to work on with the timing of that specific play, but, you know, it doesn't go great for them. Okay, so Sen are off to a great start. It's a 5v4, and, you know, this round is actually going to be even more in Sen's favor, you might say, here as well, because Device, who is one of the players with an actual rifle, also goes down just there in a 1-for-1 trade. So, okay, now it's a 3v4, but now Sen get into kind of a bit of a mess in terms of what exactly they want to do. You see Zekken has actually TP'd back across towards A, and so he's over here now. You see that they start to dog out towards A here with the Sky and don't see anything, so Zekken comes up and runs up towards A. The thing is, and they really struggled with the pace of this whole game, I think, Sen. The thing is, they really just didn't know how to kind of deal with this pace. The Paper X, you know, they just kind of instantly after that kill just went, yeah, we're just gonna go straight to heaven, right? We're just gonna come up here and just do it, like, straight away. You know, we're not even gonna wait, and then something is gonna, you know, take this crazy TP into A despite having no information of what's going on over towards A at all, right? It's just a mess. This round has started off as a bit of a mess, but now it's a 2v4. Okay, so it's just a straight 2v4. The Yoru is just TP'd in on A. You know, in theory, they could be coming either side of mid here. We got a smoke over towards B Heaven, so Sen have split themselves up into a 2-2. But still, you would think 2v4, Sen should be closing out this round.
To the side, and indeed, that is a bit of a punish. Something he sent into that TP. He's going to be taking out Pat-Man. Half of the clearance, it's still managed to just wrangle the rifle in time. Snaps it straight to Zekken's head. This is a 2v3 scenario, but still very much winnable. Just depends if they can take out John. He's near-sighted, blinded, a bit of spam as well. Trepidatious trying to be assisted with that util as well from afar. Doesn't help him out though just yet. 2v2 now for Paper X. Getting that plant down. No fast play, I should say, from Sentinels here. Making sure to slow it down for now. Grouping up. Still, it's Pat-Man inserted into the smoke. He wants to try and dominate this angle here. How does it get cleared? Traded into the 1v1, bang, versus Forsaken. Time is ticking on the spike. Making footsteps, making noise, util as well, expended. That is a bit of a catch. Smoke in the back pocket. Going to be covering, obfuscating, forces the issue from Forsaken, but he's biding his time and steps forward for the challenge.
Okay, so obviously not great here for Sen in terms of losing, you know, a 4v2, right? You never want to be losing a 4v2. The part that I want to focus on, it's not even necessarily Zekken here, who, yeah, you know, maybe gets a little aggressive, but he does have the potential to win the round if he catches the right timing, but, you know, he doesn't manage to. The point that I want to focus on is this part, right? When John is stuck here alone on the site, you know, his teammate has died here. He must know that, you know, he's under severe pressure. The Yoru is trying to TP in here. There's a smoke here. Like, he must know, right? Like, the pressure is coming this way. The part that I want to point out, though, is, like, why are we not going for this smoke, right? So Bang just got a smoke back. Why are we not giving John something to play on, right? Like, you know, just put a smoke here. He's then playing Sky. He can pop flash through this if he wants to get aggressive, right? Or it just gives him at least some hope of living or isolating one of these fights, right? Instead, he's just going to get destroyed by a paranoia. They tried to breach down here, but, you know, it's a bit too late, and actually it's a good job by Paper X in terms of Forsaken, you know, kind of being the bait here, right? So he's just actually waiting, you know, kind of focusing John attention this way, and then actually Pat-Man is the one that kills him. But we'll see the difference here with Paper X, right? So Forsaken has a smoke coming down on a cooldown now, you see, but he's already come up with his plan. He knows what he wants to do. He instantly puts down that smoke. He's going to put it in here. You see they ping it as well, right? Like, instantly we know what we're doing, and Pac-Man is going into the smoke, right? And that is the difference. I feel like in this round, that was the difference, right? The speed of thought of, like, recognizing the situation and what's going to be good for us, right? Pac-Man was low HP. That's kind of a perfect spot that you want where you can get a 1-for-1. And then, obviously, I don't think Bang plays this too badly in the 1v1. You know, he does what he could, but unfortunately for him, Forsaken just kind of comes from, you know, an angle that he isn't really expecting. And, you know, it is what it is. But I don't think this is horribly played. But Paper Rex managed to win that at 2v4, and this really was the start of a massive cascade of Paper Rex just dominating this game. Let's not skip ahead a bit later to round number 8. There are some other rounds that I did think about showing where, you know, again, we see kind of Zen maybe being a little bit slow and Paper Rex being pretty good. But this one is a really, really nice round from Paper Rex. So again, they start off, you know, with a 4-stack here. We got the Viper Spit in mid. And they don't like it. They destroy the dog coming out there, but they basically just go, yeah, we don't like this. We're just going to group up B. And Sentinels had this problem where they, and this is a good example, actually. Like, they had this problem, I think Sen, the Paper X somewhat exploited. Zekken is the only guy who gets aggressive on this team. Or at least he was at the start of this game, right? It took way too long for Sen to realize that you cannot just have, like, one guy willing to be active. But, you know, for instance, Bang was constantly smoking over towards B here. Like, always passive smokes as well. Never, like, you know, one in here to threaten, or never a deeper smoke. Always kind of, you know, these passive smokes like he's done here, even though Paper X have done nothing, right? They haven't used any util here. He's just giving up this space. And this caused them a lot of problems, right? And Paper X were able to do this where, you know, they could go, oh, we don't really like the look over towards A. Let's just go B. And we don't even have to do anything to come and take, you know, B main. Right, we can just do that. Now, the exec the Paper X do here is going to be really cool, though.
They've got tools to be able to defend this.
Bang's going to have to be that playmaker. A lot of util. Nightfall coming out. Puts himself into the back of the site. He's going to look to try and pre-aim potentially a TP into the back. There's a Haunt to deal with. And a TP back as well alongside that flash. But the Raids not anticipating it. Forsaken, he just scatters himself into the back.
I cannot tell you how amazing this is from Paper X. I absolutely adore this, right? So you're going to get the Fatal coming onto the site, right? That's obviously the first kind of big point. You got the Yoru TP here. In comes the smoke. We get the Omen Flash as well. There goes that Fatal. It hits Bang, right? What I love, though, is now we're going to Omen ult. And normally when you Omen ult in this spot, right, you come back here. Whether that's to actually get information if someone is there, or just to actually stick it if no one is there. But instead of that, they're going to Omen ult back in CT. And it just causes such confusion. So you'll see it in just a second. There's the Omen ult just there. And now on the site, what we get is obviously the clone coming out here. It's going to get shot from over there. But now you're going to get Fade Haunt. And at the same time that the Fade Haunt lands and Bang, because this is the thing, Bang is looking this way. He's looking this way for the Omen ult. It's not there, but he's also looking this way for the Yoru TP as well, which will come in, right? But the thing is, he gets distracted by the fact that, okay, Fade Haunt comes in here, so I have to look that way. As the Fade Haunt is looking at him, a flash comes out here as well, so he gets flashed. Then I TP. He can't hear, he's now blind, and we get a free kill, right? Whilst that's going on, we also get the Omen ult into the back site, and it's one of those things where, you know, there's so much going on that even if you did hear it, it doesn't matter because there's just too many things going on, right? Something finds a free kill on Bang there. It does get traded by Narrate, but he doesn't expect an Omen back here, right? This wasn't part of the plan. It's amazing. That's just such a beautiful plan, well executed, like, it's unbelievable. Then into the Viper's Pit, and now obviously you're in a pretty tough situation here for Sen.
Him to stab them in that direction. Again, Paper X asserting themselves fully locked down and rooted in spot onto this site. It's going to be a very difficult task for Sentinels to try and retake.
They need to clear hell first.
All the way forwards here. The clone is going to be taking notice. What is that?
If you're wondering there, Jinx shooting the clone actually blinded the Sen players and led to their death. How he got both of them like that, I don't know. But Jing got a few kills that were like that in this game. But now let's get back to the very next round, where we're actually going to see, this is a round that Paper X lose. It's against an Eco. And this just goes to show that Paper X, they still definitely have this in them, right? Where they inexplicably lose rounds that they have no business losing, right? So this is after a Sen timeout. And I think Sen, you know, basically we're told, you know, stop giving them so much respect. You know, start actually, like for instance, Bang here, we talked about, you know, he actually thinks about, maybe I should push B. You know, let's stop giving these guys, you know, all the respect in the world. And you see that will come into fruition in just a second, right? So he actually realizes, hey, these guys are just, like, stacking the whole game. And it took them until, like, round 9 to start, like, doing stuff like this, right? Like, obvious stuff. But now, PaperX will get into a really good situation, but then still somehow throw it away.
Sting their own fundamentals and trusting in them that's going to carry them through. Raw aim. For Jing, maybe if a better weapon was in the hands of the Ray, he could have handled it still. Zekken's there, there's walls on walls, obfuscating a lot of the fight. It's yet to be taking place, but now, moving around, wrapping around, you can see that dimensional drift. It's ripped off. Something wants to clear most of the sight out. A bit of peace of mind here for Paper, so the plan going down on top of it.
I think it's really important that PaperX don't put their players in one-and-done positions now. They need to be playing off each other.
Sagan's so eager to take that fight.
Yeah, this is maybe a bit over-eager, but he's played the situation. He's played it perfectly.
It's impeccable. There was no cue for John to play off. He had no idea it was going to be that deep onto the line. Wrapping around here, bang.
He made the long pilgrimage through mid, through sewer, and he's rewarded with a gun.
Needs a few more. Hold on. Something's going to be dropped. There's another one on the table. Maybe there's a chance. Zekken. Tippy-tappy, happy feet. Leaves it just down to Defy. In the blink of an eye. Bang!
That's going to get a huge reaction from Alex.
Well, there's a couple parts to this round. One, Forsaken does play this absolutely masterfully, right? And we see PaperX getting rewarded for being, you know, so aggressive here, right? He gets rewarded for his aggressive timings. We also see Sen get rewarded for being aggressive, because for the first time in this game, Bang thought, oh, I'm going to push B main, and he actually ended up fully on the flank, and actually ended up, you know, walking up here all the way to ramp and, you know, picking up a free kill on Forsaken, who obviously isn't expecting someone to be just there. From this point, though, the round is still unlosable. Like, you know, Zekken still only has a sheriff at this point. What Something is doing here, I mean, it just defies logic, to be honest. It really does. It really is just like, I'm playing ranked, I just want to take a fight. And then Patman as well. This is the kind of walk out of sight that you do when the round is actually already over, right? Like, you're trying to avoid the spike going off. I have no idea what he's doing either there. Like, it honestly does. It boggles the mind what those two are doing in this round. And yeah, this was a truly unlosable round that they somehow managed to lose. Okay, now let's come to round number 12. Just to quickly show you that, I mean, it wasn't just like... PaperX again in this round are going to get rewarded for, you know, these aggressive timings. Not off the rip, though, right? Because Something also goes, you know, he avoids the paranoia, and I think, you know, he just thinks, oh, I've got this here. You know, he gets, you know, punished for going for that aggressive timing. Sen end up in a 5v4. And Sen actually end up in a good spot, even though they're about to get fade ulted and whatnot here on the site. They do actually end up in a pretty good spot when I'm going to pause this, right? So yeah, the fatal comes in, but, you know, PaperX are a little slow, you know, to kind of actually go off that. You know, we actually get hit by our own paranoia there for them as well. But now we're in, like, this spot here, and, you know, Sen are in a pretty good spot, right? Like, everyone is now coming across here. They've realized what round they're in. You know, they're already a player up. You would think this should be a pretty good, you know, somewhat feasibly easy win for Sen, but they just mess up pretty badly.
Looking for the response, and now they're going to see it. Signs of life out, and it's Whiffy from Bang. The dog is missing, and right from behind, it's Orching. Lighten up the feed. Oh, 3 kills. One left to find. Spike going to be retrieved. Forsaken can get access to that one, but in a 1v3, Zekken is going to have to pull off a miracle.
The spike is kind of committed.
Forsaken committed alongside it. Matters not with aim like that.
So this situation from Sen, I would say, is horribly played by multiple players. And you'll see what I mean in just a second, right? So we're going to get Bang. And you know when I talked about Forsaken being in a situation and kind of knowing what he wants to do with his smokes? I mean, Forsaken's not even a full-time control player. Bang is, but again, he's got a smoke to potentially play off if he wants to, right? So again, he could smoke deep on the site and give him and John, you know, kind of some way, some more, you know, maneuverings around to where they can play around a smoke on the site. He doesn't go for that, which is fine because he wants to go for this swing out instead. The problem is, if you were going to do this swing out, if you're Bang, which he does, is there's a lot better ways of doing it than this. I mean, not just the aim, but also, like, you've got an extra player with you here, right? John's here too. Swing with him if you want to do it. Also, I mean, Narrate is in the perfect spot to go and stun this, or flash this, or do anything, right? Use any breach util at all. He is in the perfect spot, and yet Bang swings with no util. What on earth are we doing? It's even worse than that, because you'll realize that Narrate, it's round 12, and he has a breach ult. Guess what? He's not going to use that breach ult, because he's just going to run in and die. Right, like, None of this makes sense. None of this is good. John also just randomly dogs. I don't know what he thinks that's going to do either, right? I have no... What are they all doing here? It's so bad from all of them. Like, and when Bang dies, why is Narrate not ult? Like, okay, Bang sees multiple players out here. Ult! Ult, bro! Just have John swing. What are you holding this ult for? It's round 12. It's round 12. It's so bad. And then he runs it onto the site and dies trying to trade. Which is a situation that even if he does get a trade on someone, someone then probably just trades him as well, right? Like, you've got ult, it's round 12. Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's so bad. And then Jing also gets rewarded for, you know, taking another aggressive timing there. But yeah, that was criminal by Sen. But they were already pretty much out of this game at that point already. But yeah, that round was particularly quite egregious. But let's end this video on a positive note, because let's come to the next pistol where we're going to see something amazing from Paper Rex again. So Sen have just come into the A site here. It's full retake A, full Paper Rex. This is, you know, a fairly rough spot to be in. You know, you've lost all of heaven. You don't have any of mid. You're going to have to take the whole site. You know, not a great position to be in. But Paper Rex, this is beautiful.
Full retake going to be played here by Paper Rex, but they have given up A heaven. Screens control a lot of it. They're going to have to start to re-clear it now. We can see moves being made. Second holding the flash, a refight is going to be called for, and there it is. Paranoia forwards. Did not catch onto something though. He was the only player that could stand up to that. And indeed he does. Wins it out. Celsius just trying to bide his time as well, wrapping from behind.
Oh my God.
He's that backup policy. Paper X are not slowing down. They're not going to give you a moment to breathe. They've swarmed the site. Paramount with the defuse already, and they're just trying to hunt down his last remaining players. Bodyguards.
So from start to finish, this is just absolutely beautiful from Paper Rex, right? So as I said, they've got a lot of work to do. They're all grouped up here, and we start off with this Prowler, and this Prowler is going to see Celsius just here. But here's the thing, again, that's like different about Paper Rex than, you know, maybe Sentinels or whatever, right? Like, again, if this is a Paper Rex player, they're probably just swinging out or, you know, doing something that maybe works, maybe doesn't, and sometimes looks a bit stupid. But I like the Paper Rex's decision here is they are going to get smacked by a Paranoia and the Yoru flash here coming out of the smoke, so there's the Paranoia. But Something is the one guy who doesn't get hit by it, so as Zekken is aiming for those guys, he swings back the other way. Now, obviously they know that this guy is also here, but I like what they do, which is just Something just takes a brief look to see if he's there or not. You know, and he's just basically just going to look, and he knows, hey, it's Sentinels. They're probably playing safe and boring, right? So instead, we send a TP into this corner, we Omen flash this, and we perfectly time it so that he's behind them whilst they're blind and can't hear anything, and we absolutely decimate them. It's unbelievably good, right? That is just unbelievable. You also get the nade in there as well so that they can't push forward. Like, unbelievably good, and they know that, you know, Celsius is late lurking, and so they can just ignore him because, you know, that is Senna gonna play, you know, a boring standard style of Valorant, and Paper X do anything but and absolutely destroyed them.